Everybody, welcome to our bubble. I'm glad you're joining me today. My name is Katie, if you are new here. And today we are making pizza from scratch, and we're going to make a salad right out of the garden. So it is early August. That means there's no lettuce in this salad. We're all fresh veggies that we've got right now. So let's get on it. So the first thing we're going to have to do is to go on and start our crust because it is going to need to rise. We are going to do the bread recipe that I've done in a couple of other videos. I will link the recipe down below. The only difference is we're cutting it in half, and we're going to add some fresh basil, and we're going to add some olive oil to it. So we'll go on and get that going. The first thing we need is 1 cup of warm water. I gotta think because we're splitting the recipe in half, so it takes me a minute. Normally we use 1 tablespoon of yeast, so we're just going to use a half of one. And can't forget our honey. Oh, and we'll do, like before, I usually like to let my yeast sit for a little bit and kind of multiply and be happy. We're just going to do a big honking teaspoon. So we're going to let this sit just for a couple of minutes. While that's sitting, I want to welcome everybody here with me today. I am in Central Kentucky, Zone 6B. It is hotter than the gates of hell here. We're only at about 54% humidity, but we are around 90 degrees. The tomatoes are loving it. We finally had a spot that it's not absolutely pouring the rain on me at least once a day. So that's good. I have not watered the garden though. I'm actually trying to let it dry up a little bit. All right, we're also going to need some flour. Our flour. I did go out. I picked some fresh basil. The basil is doing wonderful. So we're going to cut up some of this. This is actually going to go straight into our dough. That might be plenty. You do want to cut your basil up fairly finely. That way it gets distributed through your dough pretty well. Now we're going to add in 3 cups of flour. Now this is going to end up making a little bit thicker crust. If you want a pretty thin crust, I would cut this in half again. So that was 3 cups of flour. You need some salt. Normally use around a tablespoon of salt, so we're going to only use about a half a tablespoon, or just, you can guess, it won't hurt anything. And we're going to throw our basil right in. Might need a little more basil. Ooh, almost forgot. We need a shot of olive oil. Here we go. Extra virgin. This olive oil from Costco, the Kirkland brand, it's very strong. So we're just going to add around 2 tablespoons. Normally, I do keep it in a jar on my counter. I mean, look how dark that is. So it's got a lot of flavor. Okay, that looks excellent. I think that was plenty of basil. We're going to set this in the back entrance where it's nice and hot and humid. And we're going to let it rise about 30 minutes. Yeah. While that's rising, we'll go ahead and make our other salad. I just have stuff that's come out of the garden, or things like, I had a red pepper in the refrigerator and it's getting a little old. We've got some spots. We've got lots of wrinkles. So I figured we would throw this in as well. And my cucumber here, it's a little soft on one end. Yeah, so we're just going to cut that off. Now I've got my handy little chopper here. Now your cucumber slices don't need to be chopped really small or real thin. That's a little thin, but you want them a little thicker, just so, because we're chopping them into pieces anyway. For this salad, I like the vegetable pieces not to be too big. I like them diced. Little fruit fly. There's a little fruit fly on my cutting board. Though it would add extra protein, or any protein. I don't have any protein for my pizza today. I don't want to eat the fruit fly. I've been picking just some very little yellow squash. We're going to throw some of these in there as well. I don't think my bowl's going to be big enough. My favorite tomato, the yellow pear tomato. You know what? I think I should cut these in half. They might just get squashed. I'm glad this red pepper wasn't doing all that great. It'll add a little color. Now, I have these, it's a cabbage. I had a cabbage from the spring, and I picked it, but then I just left the stump there. Because to be honest, I was hoping I could get like seed off of it. Well, it put off these tiny little big Brussels sprout size heads. So I am going to throw them in as well because they're starting to get wrinkledy and they're going bad on me. And that's kind of the point of this salad, is to sort of help get rid of some of the old stuff if we need to, and to use some fresh stuff out of our garden that we grew. Now I am going to cut the cabbage pretty finely. You can do the same thing with Brussels sprouts for salads or stir fries. Yeah, I'm just going to cut it up a little bit. I like to use cabbage in my stir fries as well, but I like for it to stay fresh, I add it afterwards. I cook all my other stuff, but then add cabbage. Oh, excuse me, the dog wants out. She probably won't be out there very long. It is so hot, she doesn't even want to be outside, but our dog is a little bit older. She's about 14. Kevin is the youngest animal we have. Kevin is our cat. He's my good garden helper. We do have another cat that you never see because she will be 19 this year. So she doesn't do a whole lot. Well, good. This makes me feel good because I really wasn't for sure how I was going to use these tiny cabbages. I just knew I was going to throw them in something, and this is perfect. There we go. Nice. Okay. Now we're going to make our dressing. So we need a cup of mayonnaise. So we need a cup of this. I think just about any good dressing starts with mayonnaise. I'm not a big Italian person, even though this salad would be excellent with like an Italian dressing if that's what you like. Any dressing for that matter. Okay, so a cup of mayonnaise. We need 1/4 cup of olive oil. Do you have 1/4 cup? I need a couple of teaspoons of lemon, or a whole lemon is fine. I believe these are seedless. Oh, no. No. Try not to get the seeds in there. Woo. I love lemons. Now we're going to use a little bit of salt. This thing makes me mad. Just a pinch. Don't need a whole lot of salt. You need some pepper. Because we like our pepper. And we need a clove of garlic. And we need to let the dog back in. We're going to give it a little squirt of mustard. Normally I would use Dijon just because it's fancier. And it's not as twangy as regular yellow mustard, but all I have is this organic yellow mustard from Trader Joe's. So, and we're just going to put like 4 drops. You don't want a whole lot. That's about a teaspoon. And then the main ingredient are Romano cheese. All I could get at our local Kroger was a grated Romano. They had it in the fancy cheese section. That's all I could find. But we need a half a cup of that, which it looks like I'm going to need a little more. What's my measuring cup? Huh? Oh, yeah. That was only about a quarter of a cup. Okay, there we go. It's about half a cup. Think about these. I like to shake it up a little bit ahead of time, trying to get everything down to the bottom. This dressing will thicken up in the refrigerator. We are going to use a little bit right now just in our salad to coat it. But then when you go to use it again, if you add a little bit of milk to it, that'll make it go a little bit further. So let's see. We added about a half a cup. You just want enough so that it coats everything nicely. Needs a little more. It's better to go a little lighter. We're going to let it sit in the fridge for a little bit. And then when we pull it back out, that way, because a lot of people like to add dressing themselves, or I like to mix it up as part of the salad. Okay, now we're just going to let this sit in the refrigerator. So our dough has very much doubled in size. It looks great. On your pizza pan or pizza stone or cookie sheet, whatever you're using, you may want to put down a piece of parchment paper, or you can put down some cornmeal, or I like to put down Louisiana fish fry. Louisiana fish fry, it has an extra little zing to it that just helps flavor the crust a little more. Need a little extra flour. Just a tad. Our dough is nice and sticky. So we do want to knead it around for a minute. Incorporate a little more flour in there. Have a rolling pin. Get it all floured up. Now, because of your cornmeal or your Louisiana fish fry, it's going to want to move around a little bit. So I do have something on the bottom of my cookie sheet to help keep it in place. There we go. So I do use a rolling pin. I do not know how they flip the dough around, and I've tried because we do have pizza, periodically, usually on a Friday. I thought we would today just because, in case you guys wanted to have pizza on Friday and make it yourself. Now, we are rolling the dough over the edge a little bit so that we can make our crust on the outside. The ring around the pizza, if that's what you want. Our oven is going at 375. We're waiting on it to heat up because we do need to cook our dough a little bit before we put all of our toppings and stuff on it. So now we're just going to roll up our edge a little bit. My daughter and I used to make pizza together. She liked to help. Okay, and something else I like to do is I like to rub it down with a little bit of olive oil. Just real. Just a little bit. And then what we need to do is we need to take just a little fork and kind of give it a poke everywhere. You don't have to do this. This just helps keep the dough from making like a big bubble on one side, or so just jab it here and there. So now I like to take a little bit of my Louisiana fish fry and kind of sprinkle it on your outer edge. Okay, so our oven just went off. We're going to throw our pizza in so it can be browning a little bit in our 375-degree oven. I'll put Celsius down at the bottom. I can't remember what it is right now. But our pizza crust only needs to stay in around 10 minutes or a little less. So we'll keep an eye on it. Now we're going to make our white sauce. We're using 2 tablespoons of butter. And what we're going to do here is we're going to make a roux. I always love to turn on the wrong burner. Now that our butter has melted, we're going to add about 1/4 cup of flour. And we're going to brown it. Then we're going to put in around 1 cup of milk. Now, when making a roux, you do want to constantly stir it because your flour and butter will burn to the bottom. Because once a roux starts to thicken, it goes quite quickly. We're going to put in a squirt of garlic. Excuse me, a clove. We're going to put in a clove of garlic, and we're going to put in about 1 tablespoon of fresh oregano. Now, oregano is not something you would normally pick this time of year. Oregano is normally blooming. You don't want to pick oregano after it has bloomed. It can be a little bitter. But these are new shoots that came up that have not bloomed yet. So I feel comfortable in using them. You can also use dried as well. That's perfectly fine. And the basil in your crust as well. In the wintertime, I just use basil that we have dried. I'm throwing in about 1 teaspoon of salt. I know it looked like more than that, but it really wasn't. See, look, we're already getting thick. Now, if you don't have fresh garlic, be more than welcome to use like 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. We're going to pull it off the heat, and we're going to add a little bit of fresh ground pepper. This is optional, of course. Now, if you think that it's a little too thick, I don't. I think that's pretty good. You can always add a little more milk to it. I think that looks pretty good. I think we're good to go. So now we're just waiting on our crust, which we'll take a look. It's not doing too bad. I want you guys to see. So it's only been 5 minutes, maybe. And see, we're already starting to get firm on the outside. Inside's still looking shiny. So we'll give it about 5 more minutes. Okay, our crust is ready. That's good. Now, we're going to put our white sauce on. You, of course, are more than welcome to use a red sauce. I have found that the white sauce keeps my indigestion down. Sometimes the red sauce can tear me up a little bit. Okay, And just smear that all over the bottom. And we're going to add some mozzarella cheese. Not a whole lot, just a little bit for the moment. And then I like to add lots of spinach. Unfortunately, the spinach is not out of my garden. It is the wrong time of year. If you are going to have a fall garden, though, now would be the time to plant some spinach. Or even a couple weeks ago, for that matter. Okay, lots of spinach. We're going to slice up some onion. So we're going to throw onion on there. Though I do like the white sauce, your red sauce, tomato sauce, spaghetti sauce, it is a superfood. Now, just the condensed tomato juice makes it a superfood. And I have one more squash here from out of the garden, so I'm going to cut it up and put it on there too, because you know what? Why not? Now, when I add squash, I do like to thinly slice it. This pizza is great with pepperoni or sausage or anything like that, of course, as well. I, to be honest, forgot. I forgot a meat. Now we're going to put another layer of mozzarella cheese. There's lots of cheese in this dinner. And then I got some Parmesan to make pesto with. I think we'll throw a little of that on there too. We're adding just a little bit of Parmesan, just that little bit of extra cheesy flavor. And then we're going to throw it back in the oven. And our pizza is going to sit in the oven for around 25 to 30 minutes. So our pizza is finished. It looks great. Look at that. That's beautiful. I'm excited for dinner. So I hope you guys give the pizza a try. Like I said before, if pizza tends to give you indigestion problems, this white sauce is the way to go. Everybody have a great evening, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.